might be about to get a whole lot worse.
Predicting that this one is going to be launched out over those bunkers as well on 13. Certainly sounded like a good strike. Only 235 yards to get over those bunkers, and she's done that with ease.
We've been talking about the day. You're actually losing ground of the field, being 1 under.
So far today, He Young has struggled to get the ball inside that 15-foot mark on the greens as well. You see her rolling the putts by and by, but she really needs to dial those irons in if she wants to challenge come tomorrow.
One of our headline groups today, and there are plenty of those. This is the penultimate group on the golf course.
Playing the 5th hardest hole today. Not a bad angle to be, all the way up this left-hand side. The pin is on front right, so just gives you a little bit of a more open look at it. It's obviously a better side to come into as well, because you're actually hitting into the right-hand side. When you're left of this flag, it falls away severely towards the back of the green. So, you know, you're not hitting with this downslope directly behind you.
We mentioned the stretch coming in too, Sandy. This starts a stretch where the holes from 13 through to 17 are ranked 5th, 7th, 2nd, 4th and 9th. So it's a tough little stretch. 18 not playing nearly as hard today. 3rd easiest hole, in fact. But still, you need to keep your wits about you between 13 and 17.
I dare say this one might be headed left. That has been the miss of Brooke Henderson over the last 3 rounds. Still finds the putting surface.
5 yards, and Ali, as we've said, there are a few ways of playing it.
Yeah, there are many ways of playing 13. 3, in fact, 395 back up the slope, though, so it plays a little bit longer than that. Those bunkers in the middle of the fairway, 235 to clear those. And with the pin over on that right-hand side today, you can take your choice off the tee, left or right, coming into this front right hole location. That bunker getting a little bit of action today, but as you can see, the big slope is right behind the hole, playing a little bit over.
And to be out here today, not yesterday, with Ali Whittaker.
Oh, well, sometimes...
Is she dried out yet?
Yeah, you just draw the short straw sometimes, don't you?
I still need the hairdryer on the shoes, Kate. This one, Brooke Henderson, for her birdie, up ahead on the green. Big swing left to right. Could have used a little bit more slope up there. Just 4 birdies on the Caroline Masson.
And that means a tie for 41st place. Brooke Henderson tidies up, makes her par at the 13th and remains in that tie for 2nd. So now, after all the excitement of early on, what we see is a stretch of the golf course where the players might need to just bear down a little bit and to consolidate.
Let's take a look at the par 3 14th, playing 159 yards today. 130 to the front, the pin 29 paces on over in that back left corner. A huge bunker defending the front left of this green. And then a very tricky back section as well. Not surprising to see it playing somewhere near its par, just a little bit under, but a couple of competing slopes up there.
Chinese Taipei, who made a 1 earlier today.
Brooke teeing it up on the right-hand side of this tee to open up a little angle into that left hole location. Unlucky there that just rolled through, and it's up against that collar. Always tricky. Looking pretty comfortable out there right now. This on the back of 14. Brooke Henderson just unlucky to skip through the green.
And that collar that you were talking about certainly impacted on that shot.
It was an interesting choice there to take putter, particularly with the swirly Bermuda grass that you get in that first cut of rough. It's quite patchy, and if it's consistent, then it's easier to putt through. But when you have two different types, that's when the ball pops up like that.
So in danger of dropping a shot for the first time.
15 today. It's a longer hole, but it's actually an easier spot to get to. So we'll see more birdies there. And of course, that back pin on 18, something to look forward to over the closing stretch.
Yeah. 18, so difficult over the first couple of days. It was the second hardest hole on day one. It was equal second hardest hole yesterday. And today, they're really starting to get the numbers down on the stats. It is the third easiest hole today, but the patch between 13 and 17, not so easy. Big moment here in the round of the 19-year-old. She's withstanding the heat of battle so far.
She's got a lot of fans out here.
Yeah. This for par. And she pulled that. So that is a rare error. And that collar of rough has seen Brooke Henderson pay a big price. She drops a shot for the first time today. Just for once, after a rare error, finds herself playing third. Her only error of the day so far, on the scorecard at least. 5 shots adrift of our leader, Hannah Zhang. She's got the heavy artillery out. That is the golf ball of Brooke Henderson, which hung up in the air a long time with the driver all the way from up on the hill at 15. And that group of Shan Feng
Getting dialed in there with that flat stick.
She's doing a very good job to keep it all together, because she must be fuming inside. She must be just so hot. Here's Brooke Henderson. Can she get it all the way back into that back right corner? Nice angle of approach. Yeah. Firing it straight at the flag, just as you'd expect she would do. And as the good players do, straight away after a bogey, she gives herself the opportunity of getting it straight back.
It's a little deceiving too. We keep saying back right corner.
Career wins for Shan, the most recent of those at the Sime Darby LPGA Malaysia of 2014. And Sandy, I mentioned this is what the very good players do, and they do it with monotonous regularity. When they make a rare mistake, and it's a rare one for Brooke because it's her first mistake of the day on the scorecard, so often they give themselves the opportunity of getting it straight back.
Very well. It's a very aggressive putting, and the way she rams those putts in. So back to -9 for Brooke Henderson, tied with Shan and Leanne Pace, 4 behind Hannah Zhang.
I think she knew this a fair way from the bottom of the cup, and so did the gallery.
Well, she's just...
Tsai is very right. Everyone does like Taiwan a lot coming to Chinese Taipei. This was just a moment ago, Brooke Henderson. For those of you who may have been away, looking to get back the shot she dropped at the previous hole. And she was able to do it with a minimum of fuss.
She looks to be doing it very easy at the moment. We'll take a look at this 15th hole. It's a par 4, 389 yards. And, well, what you've got to do is get it on the fairway. Grass is very thick either side, no bunkers. Of course, you're very elevated, high in the air. You're not going to get much run. You need to be on the fairway because it is quite an awkward angle into this green. It's a long green, water all down that left-hand side, but from the player's view, it's actually right across the front of the green. Now you can see the pin all the way in the back right, so it's giving them...
That's been challenging them this week, the 16th, as they move away from the clubhouse.
Yeah, it's quite a little climb, constant climb up this 16th. Now what you've got to be aware of is that bunker on the right-hand side, 225 to get in at 247 to get past. If you go too far left, though, you're going to have a really awkward second because we keep climbing. This bunker sits front right into the back left. Now look at that well-guarded left-hand side. And the pin is tucked all the way in the back left corner today. Playing just over its par at 4.
He's on this hole in round 1, 8 yesterday. There have been a total of 18 already today. Brooke Henderson bombs away at 16.
Uphill all the way. There's a bunker right. She's looking a little bit in that direction. Well, we can see it running, but I don't know whether it's disappeared in there. That is the one place you left-hand side. Now Brooke Henderson from the right-hand side didn't get in the bunker. At least she gets a better look at the pin. Just settle there, just nestles down, but she is very, very good at this shot. She's got a pretty outstanding short game.
She did that at Evian a couple of years ago, so she is giving herself a chance of doing that on Sunday in Taipei. Brooke Henderson is having to cope with the rough at the back of the greens a couple of times, and a couple of times it's been very penalising for her. We saw that at the 14th where she made a bogey, and she is staring down the barrel of doing the same thing here at 16. Well, but a par is going to have to go on her card, and she's just actually tapped it in to remain at -5. So how about this length for par? About 18 feet for Brooke Henderson. Trying to avoid a second bogey in 3 holes.
Well, things sort of slowly heading in the wrong direction. Today is not a day to be putting bogeys on your card with the amount of red numbers out there.
But Sandy, we did say in this stretch of holes between 13 and 17, that is where they were likely to come. It was not going to be the birdie blitz that we saw. The 19-year-old from Canada, half a dozen shots adrift. So quick at the bottom of her action. And she's played follow the leader with Leanne Pace, and they've short-sided themselves. That's not where you want to be in that bunker. Short right at 17. So here's this trap action coming, first of all from Brooke Henderson, who's in the sand with Leanne Pace. Not much green to work with. It's pins cut over on that side. And that is very clever. 3, 2 under for the day, 4 under for the tournament.
What were we saying about players dragging each other along?
Yeah. Important putt here. She's done the first part of the equation really well, Brooke Henderson. That is a very good up and down. Could not afford to drop another shot after what happened in the hole.
Yeah, she just really needs to hold something. Brooke Henderson on 18, water down the left, plenty of room right. Just playing 486 yards today, this hole. Yeah, that's in a good spot down that right-hand side. Just gives herself a really good look at what she's got ahead.
This hole, which today measures 486 yards.
Well, there are a lot of difficulties to this 18th hole. Firstly, you've got to avoid the obvious water on the left. A lot of players will tend to get it going a little too far right, though, and you can get caught up in some incredibly thick grass on that side. So fairway, of course, is the one you want to be, and then you've got to make a decision where you are going to place the ball down this fairway. They have shortened this hole up today. It is reachable, but it's not all that accessible. So most players will be playing out to the right, and then they get a look up this very long green. And also what you don't want to do is run through too far up onto that bank on the right-hand side. Plenty of room to work with, though, if you do just pitch it up. Birdies, it's been a bit of everything.
And she'll barely give herself a pass mark with that club in hand from that distance to be so far now from the pin. Brooke Henderson, well, it's been a bumpy ride coming in for the youngster. Everything looked as though it was going so well up until the 14th, where she just hit a tee shot just a wee bit too far and it nestled up against that collar. And She made a bogey there and she made a bogey at 16. Let's recap her day and see some of the good moments as well. She opened with 4 pars and then came to the 5th and was able to get the engine started. From about 20 feet, never going anywhere but the bottom of the cup. And when she gets the taste for birdies, she often strings a few together.
Yeah, well, once she holed that one at the 5th, very fluffy lie here on the 6th. Just gave it a little stab, ran it up. Beautifully judged shot. She'd have no trouble rolling that in for back-to-back birdies.
So birdie at 5, birdie at 6. Why not a birdie at 7? Last roll, and the pink putter was running red hot.
She made the turn in 3 under 33, and this at the par 5, 12th. From close range. This is where she's very good. She misses so few of those, and most of them go dead centre of the hole, and usually they're quite firm.
And then after dropping that shot at 14 that we spoke about, she did what the really good players do. You can never really get them back, but if you can get a birdie on the following hole, it makes life seem so much easier. The 19-year-old from Canada on Sunday, but she's got a top 10 finish in mind.
From the right-hand side of the fairway, Brooke Henderson playing her second, obviously playing this well out to the right. I'd like her 2 playing partners. It would be helpful if she could find the fairway. Yeah, and she's done just that, so good shot for her. She'll be able to set herself up with a pitch and putt. A good player, but the putting side is the side of it. I mean, today has just been a really awful day for Soyeon on the greens. She often putts well, but without making too much. But today has just been an absolute shocker. She must be just really nearly quite numb about what's happened out there. But Brooke Henderson puts herself in a pretty good position here. Can run this a fair way up this green. There's a lot of room there. Pin way back in the right. A little bit of a downslope on the other side of that bunker. Just got to be careful what she hits. She'll probably fly it a lot further to the flag. Oh, needed to fly it a little further than that. Left herself a long-range birdie putt to try and sneak up into that tie for second at -9. It's really dialed in these irons, and her shots into the greens today, Hee Young Park, but hasn't really capitalised on great iron play. But Brooke Henderson, long-range birdie putt on 18. Is to go to 4 under for the day and around a 68. Was a very nice line, just didn't have the legs. But it will still be around a 69 for her, but she'd be hoping to go really, really low.
And she's been mastering the last 5 holes this week. Of all the players who are up in contention, she had the, doesn't look like it the way she's been going. Shanshan is poised to pounce, and so is this young woman. 2 pars to close for Brooke Henderson, 3 under par round of 69. We know what she's capable of. She's going to need a very low round tomorrow. A lot will depend on what the weather brings. A lot will depend on what Hannah Jang does coming up this final.